Uh-oh. I think we're an hour early, guys.
Oh,
Hi, Bert.
What?
I just noticed that in the link you sent to the group, it was for 8. Just as a reminder, I'm doing bedtime stuff right now. Working on it. But I will not be on straight at 8 o'clock, as evidenced by the current time.
well,
So I don't know,
Drew.
and I don't know where Drew is. So
Drew said he is dick deep in Cajun wings right now.
no one corrected my fucking email.
That's
I
because
sent
we've
the
been doing it at the same
email.
time.
And he
The
said
whole
he's dick
time.
deep in Cajun wings. Well, hey Brian, why
I
don't we do
love it.
this? We can do a follow-up on
awesome.
on any. We can just vamp for the next half an hour and say, "Hey, what grievances do you have with our previous opinions on
Dude.
what was it, Massive Attack?" And we already talked about that, right?
Well, hold on, Brian. Yeah, I mean, you listen. So when someone's not here, we have to egregiously bust their balls. So feel free to take this opportunity to say anything you want about Ryan and Drew.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'll try and cook something up. I especially loved that everyone explicitly agreed that Wednesday meaning tomorrow. The thread was pretty explicit. But now I guess when wings come calling.
I guess.
Yeah. I will say that y'all's recent mail episode, and I forget the listener's name, but the guy from the UK.
Ian.
Mm-hmm.
I felt him. Hopefully, Ian, I tried to do some good because he also called out y'all's takes on Massive Attack and Primal Scream, if I remember.
Yeah.
And I feel like the early episodes, maybe I don't know if it was just I was more familiar with those records or not, but those were a little. I could tell when you guys were approaching records I loved, I was like, okay, hold on. All right.
Deep breaths.
we can get through this. But recently, I think it's great. I have more grievances against my own performance. When you guys called me as a tiebreaker, I don't know. I like jazz. I want to go on record saying I like jazz. I just like the Marvin Gaye record more.
Yeah.
But you caught me out in the backyard being like, okay, quick.
Yeah.
And I think probably I should have just went ahead and voted for White Album as well, because I didn't realize you guys were going to get a tie on that one too. Tough one.
Abbey Road?
Sorry, yes, Abbey Road.
I was going to say we didn't do it.
No,
White Album would be, I would have been into that.
that would be different. Sorry.
That must have been the day I finished the bottle of Blanton's at 9:30 in the morning.
No, that's the Smiths. That's the Smiths, because we talk about it. No, I think you're right, Brian. It's funny because when we first started the thing, if you go back and you listen to Hotel California, that episode, and you listen to Breakfast in America, I think we came at it from a more pile on with cynicism perspective, and now I think we're to a place where it's like, okay, we're gonna do a critical listen, and we're gonna find things we like. There may be some things that we don't like, and come to a conclusion where it's like, yes, this is awesome, or this isn't for me. But recognizing that other folks, may feel differently about, like the Smiths, for example. Although we still just continue to trash Tim McGraw, I think at every opportunity.
I mean, that's pretty safe territory. I think. I think even Tim McGraw fans either don't realize that they're Tim McGraw fans, or they're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's fun. I'm still a fan.
100.
I'm Bert.
I'm Drew.
I'm Ron.
I am Ryan.
And this is the 100 Albums Podcast, where we discuss the ins, the outs, and the absurdities of a poster that depicts 100 seemingly random albums. And here we are at album number 67, as we continue going through these 100 albums that appear on this random poster that Drew got a couple of years ago from his wife, Lisa. We first went through the whole poster, listened to each album, shared our thoughts and reactions with each other via video chat. Once we were all done, we thought it might be a fun project to turn into a podcast. And before we get into this week's album, we've got another special guest with us.
Get out of here. There's no way.
again.
A
I'm
returning,
waving.
It's a
returning
repeat.
special guest. Well, actually, I'm really excited for tonight because the person that we have with us tonight was courageous and came on and defended an album. And actually, we learned a lot. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
The only
yeah.
person to come on the podcast and be part of a segment to help us learn more, which we would love to do with more people. But this is someone who's been a friend of mine for 2 decades, maybe more. I think more. Way more. Oh my God, I'm
Who's
so
counting?
old. Yeah, we're getting close to 3 decades of friendship, and is extremely knowledgeable about music and film, which is a great intersection for this. And I'm so excited to have him on the podcast again. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Miller.
Yay! Welcome, Brian.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Thank you. And
First returning guest.
first returning guest, another title under my belt. And I know that my Massive Attack defense went on long, so I specifically did not do any research for this episode, except for I read these 2 600-page books.
Okay.
Oh, so other than that, yeah.
Just that little nugget. Okay. Good. Well, welcome, Brian. We're happy to have you back.
And Bert, I will also tell you, every time you do the intro, it blows my mind that you say things like episode 67. The fact that we actually committed to continue to do this past 3
Yes.
blows my mind. But here we are at 67.
And before you and Drew got here, I was talking with Ron and Brian, and I mentioned that. So the episode that posted at this point, like 3 weeks ago, the Smiths, The Queen is Dead, that was our 100th episode. So it's not the 100th album, but with all the mini episodes we've done and all the stuff in between, that was our episode. So we're going to be on like episode 103 or 104 with this one now. So
We're so
yeah,
prolific.
it's crazy. It's
Look, man,
crazy.
we're Gen X. We commit like no other.
We are stubborn.
And we
For
drink
better
out
or
of
for
garden
worse.
hoses or something, right? Isn't that anyway?
No.
Yep.
Well, welcome, Brian. Happy to have you once again. So this week, we're going to be talking about the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Start with the vibe check, guys. What are your first impressions?
I love it. I love this album.
Ryan coming in hot.
Yeah.
I love this album. I
Lion.
played the crap out of this CD. It is so much fun.
Oh.
That's my vibe. I love it.
Yeah, it reads like in my reads, I mean, comes to my ears like a greatest hits, like because all of the songs on here for the most part, and yet you can enjoy it as one. It's not a single artist album, but it doesn't sound like a compilation, like a Pulp Fiction soundtrack kind of compilation to me. I know that disco is such a corner that it probably is the reason, but all of the same, I love it too. This goes way back into my childhood memories. This one, and I don't play it a lot, so it doesn't get old, but therefore it never gets old to me.
Brian, what you got, boss?
Well, I so appreciate being back on the show. I'm still a huge fan, so thank you guys for having me. I kind of wanted to come on this episode specifically to defend disco, but I did so not realizing who I was going to be talking with and what the band name that you guys are being in. So I feel like I'm in good company here.
Yeah.
I've been kind of diving into the whole 70s dance music stuff for the last couple of years. And I think that we are of an age that when we were kids, we were sort of told disco sucks, disco's dead, all this stuff. But it really is fun music. And I think it's a really interesting point in American dance music. It's basically the beginning of modern American dance music. And this soundtrack is really kind of complicated in where it stands with film and music, but it's like just a great album to listen to and jam out to, and I love it as well.
And I mean, a landmark for electronic music and what eventually becomes electronic dance music, I think, is all rooted in disco, but like really takes off a lot of tracks on this album. But Ron, where are you at here? I'm gonna guess you hate it.
I will absolutely acknowledge everything you guys have said as being historically accurate and true. Fuck this album.
I
Dude, it's
The
so
descent.
super soft. Like, and I can't say the whole album.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into the weeds on why this is not a Ron album, but I mean, there's a lot of good on this. Like a Fifth of Beethoven. You don't get much more fucking disco than that, and I dig that song. But the Bee Gees, me and the Bee Gees don't have a good history. But it's honestly a mixed bag. But historically relevant, you can't deny that this was a launching point for a lot of shit and means a lot to a lot of people. So I mean, I'm not going to talk too much shit, but am I going to play this again or buy it? You'll have to pay attention to the rest of the episode to see.
Oh, boy, I don't know where he'll stand on that.
Cliffhanger.
Stay tuned.
Bert, what's your vibe,
Worst
buddy?
teaser ever.
Even through the commercials.
So I am with the majority on this one. This is a really fun listen, fun hang. I think Brian, you had said fun as kind of the thing. It's funky, it's groove, it's got all the things, and I would say that yeah, we were kind of growing up in the 80s, the whole disco is dead kind of notion. I never really understood that, and I reflected on that a lot this week as I was listening to this album, and I was like, I think it's because when something gets big, then people push back against that, and then something else gets, like something else kind of comes up in its place or whatever. And I just never really understood why, like, how can you not, like, when Staying Alive is on. You can't help but move your butt,
Well, yeah,
the
but I
other
mean,
thing-
there's
Go-
social stuff, and I bet Brian's going to get into it from the books he's read. But there's some social reasons.
Oh, sure, yeah.
A lot of people were anti-disco.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with the music.
Nothing to do with the music. Yeah. The other thing that I'll say is the Gibb brothers. Once I set aside the Justin Timberlake, Jimmy Fallon impression of the Barry Gibb talk show on Saturday Night Live, which still slays me.
Talking it up on the Barry Gibb talk show. Talking about issues. Talking about real important issues. Talking it up on the Barry Gibb talk show. Taking out politics in this crazy, crazy time. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Barry Gibb.
That's so funny.
Once you set that aside, it's like, yeah, they're on it, man. Both in writing and in production. Like I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the listen.
Especially with how quick they. Well,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping.
No,
ahead.
that's all right. We're
But
jumping
yeah.
ahead. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, that's a good pivot into the background. Saturday Night Fever, the movie, was inspired by a 1976 magazine article about disco culture in Brooklyn, New York City. During early development of the film, producer Robert Stigwood, who also managed major music acts, realized the film needed a strong, authentic disco soundtrack. Instead of going with only a traditional film score or orchestral film score, he leaned into popular music to define the film's identity. So he tapped the Bee Gees to do that. He turned to the Bee Gees, who were already successful but not at their peak yet. At the time, the group, Barry Gibb, Robin Gibb, and Maurice Gibb, were working in France on another project. They reportedly wrote several songs very quickly, within days, after only seeing a rough script of what the film was going to be.
There was like one weekend, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
like 3 days, I think, is what I saw. Yeah.
These songs were written for
Correct.
custom written for this
for
movie.
this movie.
Mo-
That's-
most of
I mean, and
most of them.
Yeah.
Staying Alive was
Or the Bee Gees songs anyway.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the name of the movie. The Staying Alive was originally like Saturday Night, but there was already like 3 songs called
That's right.
Saturday Night out there, right?
Yeah, right.
SATUR.
You don't want to mess with the Bay City Rollers.
I was just gonna say,
They will roll on you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the songs that they created were "Staying Alive," "Night Fever," "How Deep Is Your Love,"
And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love?
and "More Than a Woman." And these songs became kind of the backbone of the overall soundtrack, even though it wasn't entirely a Bee Gees album, right? And we'll talk about that. The Bee Gees collaborated closely with producer-arranger Albie Galutin. If I'm saying that wrong, apologies to that person's family. And engineer Carl Richardson. Recording mainly took place at Criteria Studios in Miami. The signature sounds they were looking for: tight, danceable grooves driven by steady drum patterns. I got more on that in a second. Prominent falsetto vocals, especially Barry Gibbs. No shocker there. If you haven't seen the bit from Saturday Night Live, please go watch it because it's hilarious. Rich string arrangements for that lush kind of disco feel, and clean, radio-friendly production that still works in clubs. The iconic rhythm, this is the thing that the little nugget that I found that I think is just fantastic. The iconic rhythm of Staying Alive. Used a loop drum track from Night Fever. Dennis Byron, who was the backing drummer in Staying Alive, he had to leave in the middle of the session due to the death of his mother. So they were looking for a replacement. There was a shortage of qualified drummers in the area, and so they tried a drum machine with unsatisfactory results because drum machines would have been very, very early in their development at the time. So after listening to the drum track of the already recorded Night Fever, they took 2 bars from that track, re-recorded it as a loop, and that's the drum track for Staying Alive, which I thought was like early, like
Crazy.
sampling, early looping, here, that, of course, I mean, Ryan, you talked about electronic dance music. I mean, that's what it all kind of becomes as it goes down the line. So although the Bee Gees dominate the album, it's actually a various artists' soundtrack. Other key contributors: Yvonne Elliman, If I Can't Have You;
Am I strong enough to see it through? How crazy is what I will do if I can't have you? I don't want nobody, baby, if I can't have you.
Tavares for More Than a Woman;
Baby, we can make it shine. We can take forever, just a minute at a time. Minute at a time. You are more than a woman. More than a woman to me. Baby, more than a woman.
Kool and the Gang with Open Sesame; The Tramps with Disco Inferno.
Funk was flaming, out of control. It was so entertaining. When the boogie started to explode, I heard somebody say, "Disco Inferno."
And Walter Murphy's A Fifth of Beethoven. This mix helped the soundtrack feel like a true snapshot of the disco era, not just a single artist album or single artist soundtrack. The record was released on November 15th, 1977, and it was a double album. Upon its release, it went to number 1 on the Billboard charts for 24 consecutive weeks. Prior to the release of Thriller by Michael Jackson, Saturday Night Fever was the single best-selling album in music history and still ranks among the best-selling soundtrack albums worldwide, with sales figures over 40 million copies. Every Bee Gees song on this album went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Damn.
Every single one of them. Like, that's bananas. So how did this album soundtrack kind of impact the culture? It helped push disco into the global mainstream. At the time, disco was not the flashing lights and mainstream thing that we think of it now. It was still kind of a burgeoning genre of music. It cemented the Bee Gees as a defining act in the disco era. It influenced how soundtracks were produced, showing they could be commercial blockbusters on their own. This was really a good example of one of the first soundtracks that was successful, apart from the movie, was successful by itself. So that's what I've got from my rundown, guys. What else? What other research have you found? What other things that you want to uncover?
Well, there's a couple of names on this that are kind of just one-songers, but don't forget David Shire on the lion's share of composers on this one. He did a lot of those instrumentals.
Yes.
Just saying that
he was a busy guy too.
Yeah, I actually, that was someone who I deep dived into for this episode because I found him really fascinating, not only in his work on this, because some of my favorite tracks on this album come from him, like Manhattan Skyline.
Yeah, man, it's killer. It's so good.
Especially like the ending to it. I don't know if anyone's looked into his career, but you're like, do. You're like, am I listening to a TV show theme?
Mhm.
Well, the dude won 5 Emmys for television music.
So it's all him. Okay.
Well, but he also he did the soundtrack for The Conversation with Francis Ford Coppola and Gene Hackman. But which is a really if you look at that compared to this, it's so much different. It's almost like Satie meets lounge jazz. It's such an interesting soundtrack. And then his work with the taking of Pelham 123.
Perfect soundtrack.
Amazing. I mean, and people have covered that, like famous jazz artists. Have you guys heard this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just the Beastie Boys. mentioning.
Oh yeah. The movie has also been remade, but yeah, he was the composer on the original, and it's a great jazz horn heavy score.
Oh,
I'm a
Yeah,
huge
no,
jazz
not
guy.
to be ignorant, but I didn't know there was an original when
Oh,
when
hold up,
the other
Drew,
came out.
because it sounds like a funk jazz soundtrack with 12-tone melodies. It is so out there.
Sweet.
And kind of that was also before this too. So then he gets, kind of tapped for this, and he's just the perfect recipe
Yeah, wow.
to do things like Night on Disco Mountain.
And Salsation.
And Salsation, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But he won a Grammy for Manhattan Skyline for this.
I'm
Yeah,
not surprised.
I love that cut.
It's a great tune.
Yeah.
It's got all of as does many songs on here, not all of them, but it's got all of the things you want when you say, what does disco mean? Like if you had to describe disco to aliens,
Oh, dude, yeah.
like, I mean, did this guy create disco? It's that deep. So maybe he did. I'm sure he had a hand in it, which how cool would that be to have your name on something so influential that you could be called the potential heavy influencer, if not creator of a genre.
Well, I mean, I feel like his work on this is up there with, and this is going to be a bold statement for people who like electronic music, I feel like it's up there with I Feel Good by Donna Summers. Brian's saying no. I'm sorry, I feel loved.
Yeah.
I feel loved. Okay, I was hearing it in my head. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my personal take on this is that, he was the film's composer. So I think a lot of times, especially in a movie like this, that job falls to kind of like, hey, we have this song, but we can't afford the rights to it. Give us a piece that sounds a hell of a lot but is legally distinct from this. And I feel like knowing a lot of the other stuff going on in 76, 77 in the salsa scene, his Salsation is basically like, yeah, this stuff's hot. We'll put a salsa song on here. And so I kind of feel like maybe Manhattan Skyline is a little bit of that, of like, there's a bunch of disco stuff that is emerging. All of these new sounds is coming out of Philly and New York and all this stuff. Let me take a stab at it, right? And it'll be a bed under a scene in the movie, but then it appears on the soundtrack, and the soundtrack just takes off, and it winds up being a highlight in the film and the soundtrack itself. And he's like, it might have started as just representative, or almost like kind of not a cover, but a little bit of an interpolation, but it winds up being defining, just because it's like, right, it's a good piece of music, and it's in the good context.
Yeah, no,
I want to see.
That's true. I see you on the interpolation piece.
Whereas like, I Feel Love is like, I mean, that the synth bass line on I Feel Love is still getting sampled.
Well, that's true. And I actually, I teach a class on electronica. You ask me which one I'm teaching, and in my lectures we actually have the Donna Summers, but
yeah, that's a good track.
But I mean, there's other unspoken heroes. You mentioned Philadelphia on here, and MFSB, which is basically, they were the Soul Train song, right? With the, what's that?
For a while, yeah.
TSOP.
Yeah, the Sound of Philadelphia. Yeah.
So I mean, like, people are getting nods in here that are, I mean, Cool in the Gang, which is not always cool. This song freaking rocks.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
one of my favorites. Every time it comes on, I'm like, let's turn that volume knob up. You know, I mean,
It is so hard.
It does hit hard.
and even Ralph McDonald's Calypso breakdown. I feel like it hits in a special way.
Well, hold on. Ralph McDonald? He was with Harry Belafonte's band for like 10 years.
Oh, so he knows Calypso from the beginning.
Yeah, no shit. He also co-wrote Just the Two of Us with Bill Withers.
Wait, not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
And was in a shit ton of really, really good bands. So no slouch at all.
Well, we're already getting like into tracks here,
Yeah.
as opposed to talking about the history, and I feel
Right.
a little guilty about that because any moment now, I'm going to be electrically charged in my chair from Taskmaster Bert. Bert, you want to bring us back on
Well,
track here?
I mean, is there other research points or other things that folks have?
When they were recording this, do y'all know what they were dancing to in the scenes instead of the Bee Gees?
Yeah, go ahead.
Stevie Wonder.
Yep.
And Boz
Like-
Scaggs.
Boz Scaggs.
Yeah.
Wait,
and so-
it's funny, Ryan. You were talking about how, or Brian, you were talking about how many times composers are told, "Hey, you know, we want this sound. We want it to sound like this song, but be legally distinct or whatever." They tried to get Boz Scaggs on the soundtrack, and his management company wouldn't allow for it because they had his music associated with another film about disco that was in development that never came to fruition. So it's kind of funny how there's these sliding doors moments, right?
Yeah, but I'm sitting here thinking as a non-Bee Gees fan, man, how cool would this been with Stevie Wonder's music on there instead of the Bee Gees? Not
Wait,
saying
so-
that-
Now I meant to watch the movie before this, but it didn't happen. So I haven't watched the movie in ages. They're dancing to this music while recording the film, but
Yeah.
then they put the Bee Gees over it.
Right.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I could dance to Stevie Wonder, but I don't think I would dance the same to Stevie Wonder as Bee Gees. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I can't remember which scene, but I feel like one scene the replacement had to be a very specific tempo because like
Yeah.
they had photographed it to that certain Boz Scaggs song or whatever. So
And that
whatever
was
they
not
put
on-
on top had to.
That one was also written by David Shire, Brian, and is not on the soundtrack.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah. One interesting thing I wanted to bring up in terms of the movie's inception in the magazine article that was written, it's kind of a funny print the legend versus the truth type deal, because the guy who wrote that magazine article later confessed to largely just making it up. Like even in the context of that article, the Tony character is supposed to be kind of a pastiche of many people that he supposedly met, but he just made it all up. So the actual disco scene that was existing before this movie came out was kind of much different in some kind of subtle ways. So like dance contests and the nightclub as kind of a meat market or mating ground really came from the article more than the actual clubs. But the movie was so GD successful and it got visibility across the whole country and the whole world that all of the disco clubs that popped up after in the wake of this movie's success were modeled after the movie.
So like
disco
Studio
became-
54 wasn't, because I always just figured like Studio 54 and clubs like that predated this, and this is, that's what this is based on. So it was actually this, and then like Studio 54 and clubs and shit.
No. So Studio 54 existed before this movie was made, but the vibe inside Studio 54 would have been more either sort of group dancing, or kind of, it's in the case of Studio 54 in particular, it was really more about just being seen and hanging out and drinking and other things, right?
Yes,
like
doing lots of
like,
drugs.
yeah, it's
Nothing
sort of
involving a spoon.
right, exactly. The representative of the sort of like white disco, velvet rope, status, fashion, glamour. But in other clubs, maybe more influential, that opened before Studio 54, it was more of a underground scene driven with Black and Latin people, minorities. A lot of gay culture was in there, and it was really more of a communal experience where there was not that much hooking up, or at least hooking up was not the intent when you went to the club. You went to the club to experience this constant mix of music and drugs, and feel this sort of like group, ecstasy type vibe.
They were
so
like the original rave.
Yeah.
It was in many ways, right?
I totally hear you. I didn't realize it wasn't mainstream at the time, though. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and so this movie was basically the tipping point on that. And this movie was also when all of the record labels realized that there was money in disco. So they started flooding the market with all sorts of pap labeled as disco. And the quality of that went downhill severely, which kind of is what led to the end of disco and all of the blowback.
Quickly.
So, yes, quickly, very quickly. So the movie sort of stands as like the top and the beginning of the end of the whole kind of disco scene in the late 70s. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And the thing about disco in my, whatever level of music history there is to know, the pervasive thing is the beat that defined disco. It was before disco and it went on after disco. I mean, Pink Floyd Animals was released this same year as this record, and there is so many elements of it in this record. I mean, disco is, I think, so much more influential than it's hip to give credit to. And I think it started in disco. It started with that dance beat, and it's such a hip thing to feel that other bands that had nothing to do with it were influenced by it.
Well, that dance beat continued through the 80s, whether people were acknowledging it or not. You could find it in
For sure.
mainstream bands like Duran Duran.
You know you're something special and you look like you're the best. Her name is Rio and she dances on the stand.
You can find it in the 90s with Bert's favorite band, Jamiroquai.
I had no choice but to get down, 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 dance. Woo. Nothing left for me to do but dance. All these bad times I'm going through, just dance. Got candy in my ears tonight, big bad. Woo.
I mean, it never stopped after this.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
Jamiroquai
let's be
lives
honest.
on it.
Jamiroquai is just disco
Yeah.
I mean,
It lives on it.
in
But-
many, many ways. But
Canned heat is not disco, Bert.
Well, I mean, I will say Can is not disco, but that's as far as I'll allow that.
I mean, y'all's favorite band,
waiting
Daft
for you
Punk.
So let's raise the bar and our cups to the stars. She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to the sun.
Daft
Daft Punk's
yeah.
last album was basically
Four
a
on the
disco
floor,
album.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disco
Yeah.
album, yeah.
Which is why I've always assumed that disco clubs were the hot thing to go to. I mean, even in my youth, going downtown to the dance club, quote unquote, that we had, it wasn't playing disco music, but that's how I always figured disco clubs were. But my wife's parents owned a disco club in town here for a few years, and I thought this was my chance. I tried to get her to come on and talk about. It was called the 2001, and
Wow,
same name as the
named
club
after
in the film.
movie.
Yeah, and she, I mean, yeah, but she's got mixed emotions on the situation because obviously as a child of bar owning parents, you spend a lot of time there, and she's got great stories of the place that aren't always warm memories for her. But yeah, I mean, it was a I don't know, for around here anyway, it got pretty huge for those post this movie, obviously because of the influence of that name. So maybe it surged, in its dissolution, it was surging at the same time.
And what I find, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I totally agree. I think from the ashes of quote unquote disco, we get everything. Like anything with that 4 on the floor beat comes from here. Like the DJ spinning music, not to sell drinks, but to keep people on the dance floor. The DJ as a producer, even sort of like producer-led projects that could not necessarily play live, but only existed on vinyl for a dance floor. The 12-inch single, sound systems. I mean, there was really a lot that we took from this moment that continues, even if that sort of shuffling hi-hat, went away.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even argue in our prime, because we're all around the same age, some of our favorite bands. I mean, can you not hear the disco in 9 Inch Nails?
Way it makes me feel infection. It's almost like a tongue on the back of my neck. I never had a choice, connection. I never had a chance to catch my breath. It's eating up the space.
I mean, it's right there. So
Yeah, he doesn't even hide it. No.
I think one of the things that was interesting for me, kind of revisiting this soundtrack. Did anyone else rewatch the movie?
I really want
I
to.
meant to, but I did not get a chance to this.
And I think we will, but not in time for the episode.
It is it's a disturbing movie.
Yes.
And there's a kind of cuteness or liveliness about the album that almost
belies the
there's a bit of contrast there that is really interesting because it's a fucked up movie.
It's a downer. Yeah, it's a downer.
And
Kick me off my soapbox if I talk too long, but the guy who wrote this particular book, this book called Love Saves the Day, is by a British academic dance guy named Tim Lawrence, and this follows the whole decade of 70s dance music, primarily in New York, which is, I think, objectively where this particular strain started, even though I think the movie is what largely blossomed it out of just New York and Chicago and Boston into the any town. But he kind of posits that as a ad for disco, Saturday Night Fever is not the best movie because the point of the movie or Tony's character arc at the end is he realizes that just going to the club every Saturday is not going to progress his life. Whereas other movies that kind of came in the wake of this movie's success were sort of much more kind of pro disco, like light comedies where you're just like, let's go to the club and we'll get into some hijinks. And those, I think, probably don't succeed as films because it doesn't have the depth and pathos that Saturday Night Fever does. But yeah, watching the movie is not exactly an ad to go out clubbing.
No, it's an ad for like raping your friends and then dying. I don't know. It's a dark movie.
It is.
Yep.
And also, and I was while we're on the film subject, want to remark that there was a sequel to this,
Staying Alive,
and it did really well. So on that note, Bert, hey, I feel like this is a good time to hear from this week's sponsor.
Man, you beat me to it, Ryan. It's a great time. So I got another sponsor reach out this week, and guys, you're not gonna believe this sponsor and how we've made it, I guess. This episode is being sponsored by TikTok.
No way.
What?
TikTok.
We're getting real money?
I smell something big coming this week.
TICKTOCK. So it's not the TikTok you. The groundbreaking, industry disrupting, venture capital confusing app that boldly asks, what if your phone just told you the time? No, seriously. That's it. That's the app. While other platforms compete to capture your attention, your data, your soul, and at least 3.5 hours of your evening, TikTok cuts through the noise with a radically minimalist approach. It shows you the current time. It continues to be the current time. And then, astonishingly, it becomes a slightly later time. Whoa! Check out these core features. Hours. Available in both 12-hour format for vibes and 24-hour format for people who mean business.
Wow.
Minutes. 60 of them per hour. We verified.
60?
Seconds. Watch them slip away in real time. No subscription required.
Oh.
And no infinite scroll because time moves forward, not downward. We're not here to confuse you. Other apps have a For You page powered by a mysterious algorithm that decides you suddenly care about pottery, conspiracy theories, or raccoons washing grapes. Well, not TikTok. Welcome to the For Now page. It displays the current time. It updates instantly. It knows nothing about you, though maybe judges you a little bit silently. And the exclusive audio experience. It's really simple. Tick. Talk. And an optional unsettling silence as you contemplate your life's choices. No remixes, no sped up versions, no one whispering,
Oh. Oh. No.
We're proud to introduce the most transparent algorithm ever created. If 1 second passes, we add 1 second. No recommendations, no personalization, no sudden urge to learn 5 different dances you will never perform in public. What you won't find, influencers explaining quantum physics while making iced coffee. Ads for products you mentioned once near your phone. Comment section arguing about nothing for 600 replies. Filters that can turn you into a Victorian ghost. Or an algorithm that decides it's raccoon content day again. Are you worried about privacy?
No, the raccoons.
Are you worried about privacy? We collect nothing. We store less than nothing. We sell absolutely nothing. Frankly, we're not even sure why we have servers. You download apps to escape time. We brought it back. TikTok. Just time. Relentless. Unstoppable. TikTok. Because you've already wasted enough of it.
That is the most comforting thing I've ever heard.
This is my new favorite app.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to go ad free? Because I feel like that app with ads would be a nightmare.
There's no ads. It says there's no.
I don't want to watch like a King's Quest ad just to find out how many seconds have passed. You know?
King's Quest. So thank you to TikTok for the generous sponsorship.
That's exciting. I'm glad we're getting these name
podcast.
brands.
I know,
that's
right?
these are the things that are going to really help us fund the remaining 33 episodes.
And I'm so happy to be part of, something so innovative, having our name connected with.
I will say if they do make a paid version, it would be nice to have like different clock sounds, like particular grandfather clocks or Big Ben, there's some expansion material there where I feel like you could really get me to micro purchase.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're to that point in the evening now. It's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly on the re-listen of the soundtrack from the film Saturday Night Fever. What strikes you? What is good? What is bad? And is there anything that's ugly?
I don't remember who said it, but this is a catalog of the best of disco. Like Boogie Shoes by Casey and the Sunshine Band. that's a good fucking song. I like that one. There's a lot of good songs on this album. Disco Inferno. That one is made for movies like that. I can imagine walking into a club right as that shit drops, and that just be like an endorphin booster where you're like, I'm gonna have a good night because this song started my night. So there's a lot of good on here, as long as it's not done by the Bee Gees.
Look, can I ask you this, Ron?
Yeah.
Of the Bee Gees songs, because I feel like notably Jive Talkin' and You Should Be Dancing were prior releases that were attached to albums, right? And then the top of this soundtrack were the original songs. Do you care for Jive Talkin' or You Should Be Dancing more than, say, Staying Alive or More Than a Woman?
And dude, I'll break it down because it took me a long time to figure this one out. What it is with the Bee Gees, I give them full respect as songwriters because they've done a lot of shit. It's the narrator. It's like we've talked about a lot.
Barry.
Yeah. And I can't even say it's just Barry and the falsetto. There's just something about them. How Deep Is Your Love? Is so soft. It's just, it loses me on that one. But they write good shit. They really do. It's just the narration gets me every time. I don't care for them. But I have mad respect for musicianship. I looked at Barry Gibb's gear. Like, dude plays solid shit. Mostly guilds. I think their use of the wah pedal, as stupid as that sounds, as silly as it is, on Night Fever, on the chorus, they use it not just as the wah 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 wah, but they actually use it as a filter sweep. I mean, they do good shit. It just don't stick with me.
You know what I love about the wah, by the way, did not, because I'll forget totally to mention this. The little sometimes they use it on beats 1 and 3, sometimes on 2 and 4. It's such a piece of this type of music that is changeable. It's not like a clave beat that you have to play the same way. You have to have that guitar, but it can be on either. It's pretty fun. It's really cool. It's a really great part of this.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to play either, at least not for me. Just with the rhythm in the foot and everything else, but it is integral to this sound, and it's easily identifiable.
I think for me, a good is that even though I think people initially, when they think of this album, they think of it as a Bee Gees album. I really do think people go there first. Is that once you start playing it, there's so much more to unpack, and it's all very rewarding. And I think as a soundtrack, it really offers a kind of complete experience that you might not expect. So if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't actually listened to this because all you know is Staying Alive or something, or I would say this is one where all 4 sides have some hits that are going to grab you. And I loved the whole thing. I don't want to get ahead on the stuff I don't like, but I will say I think I'm just a little exhausted at this point with Staying Alive, which is not Staying Alive's fault. And I'm a little exhausted with Fifth of Beethoven, which is not Fifth of Beethoven's fault. Although if I ever write a classical piece that gets so famous that it gets a dance version and becomes the theme song for a court show, I mean, I'm good. I've done everything I need to do in life.
You can just print your own money.
Did you know that Ryan, you probably did, but did anybody else know that I found this out a couple weeks ago in my third grade music class, playing a piece for my kids, that Beethoven's Fifth is Opus number 67. And if you're affiliated with children in any way, you will know how 6-7 is.
And this
But
is
literally-
episode 67.
This is
Oh my God!
episode 67. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Album 67.
I do a composer every
The
week. and
universe
this-
has aligned for this conversation.
No joke. I didn't even think about that when I said it, but I do a composer every week. It was Beethoven's week. Of course, I just chose the fifth, and the piece, the YouTube presentation I chose, it said it right out front, Opus number 67. Of course, the kids couldn't get past that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! I couldn't believe it.
You know, and as much as I pick on
It'll make you like it
that
even more.
disco track, I really do like that keyboard sort of. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
it's awesome.
it still kind of gets me, you know.
It's
but-
awesome.
And again, this is not a fault of those two tracks, but you contrast that to, the other tracks on here. I think, unlike Ron, how deep is your love, I think, is amazing. Like, if I were to set out to write a track in that style, I could never do it that good. The way they've layered everything is so precious. And it still moves. So if you're not paying attention, you just want to dance to the thing, you can do it. I remember listening to, because I had this on CD when we were in a band. We were listening to it in Jim's van on the way to a gig, and he offhandedly said that this was the number one song played in the lobby of dentist offices in America. And it has that diversity. I don't think he's wrong, but I think it does more than that.
Yeah, but it's a R&B banger. I mean, in fact, in recent times, PJ Morton did a cover of this song.
How deep is your love? It's your love. Is your love. I really mean to love. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, yeah. Breaking us down, yeah.
That got pretty virally famous, and with Yeba, and it's just so good. It's just such a great tune. The bones of this song, it's one of those songs. It just stands up. You don't have to like it, but it's I agree, Ryan. What I think of is, if I could write a song, and it could be something as powerful as this, I'd be happy.
Well, and then also on the soundtrack, we've got two versions of More Than a Woman. This isn't a good or bad. I'm just curious everyone's opinion on which they prefer. Do you guys like the BJs or the Tavares better? Or?
I wanted to ask that question too.
Tavares.
Same.
Yeah, I lean that way.
Brian?
Yeah, they're close for me, because I like the song, but it's not a standout in either version. But
Yeah.
I think I do give it to Tavares. Also, just because I'm coming at this from the film angle. You actually see Tavares records in the movie when they're practicing dancing, and Travolta's like, you like these guys? And so their inclusion.
Did you guys
on
see
the
that? We just
soundtrack.
had Travolta on the pod.
Yeah,
where did he come
It was
from?
amazing. He just walked into Brian's room and
that was great. Yeah, I actually thought the BJs were covering the Tavares version, but it's the other way around. And I thought they really did it well. I thought the BG did a great job on it, but I give Tavares 55%.
I'm also trying to figure out, in retrospect, with how limited our knowledge was in the 90s as a band, how we never covered Open Sesame with Disco Bitch and the Funk Machine.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ryan.
Well, and there have been. I mean, we could have done this whole album. You know what I mean? There are so many songs that we could have / should have, but that's a great point, Ryan.
I love that song.
Open Sesame
Yes.
is one of my greats for this album.
Yes.
And it's definitely my good category. It is so hard. It comes in with the Open Sesame, and that just goes, and it's way better than Jungle Boogie. I think, and I don't know how Jungle
I don't know
Boogie
about
reached
that.
the status it did. I think it rocks way harder.
I am the genie of sound. Everybody
Yes.
get down.
I know, man. And it's such a great point on this record. It's such a highlight of this record for me. And that's what I was thinking, was like, man, why did we not cover this song?
Yeah.
I mean, just a little bit of micro tuning in there, and you've got a completely different album. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's a real positive for me, is like, I do like all the Bee Gees tracks, but the non-Bee Gees tracks, and I guess a little bit, I'll include the David Shire stuff in there, is just so indicative of a lot of the other disco songs that you can kind of dig harder and find, especially like a little bit of the earlier proto disco songs. I don't think you can come up with a more perfectly encapsulated sound of disco than Disco Inferno, but that song is like 11 minutes long, and everybody knows the first 2 minutes and the last minute, but minutes 4 through 9 go pretty hard, right? And you can really see that in a dance floor in 1976 or whatever, where it's just people are dancing to that song for 11 minutes, right? Like the Calypso thing, the Calypso Breakdown, also a 10-minute song.
Yeah.
And that's really a kind of like the heart of that sort of dance aspect of the disco, are these 12-inch breaks, like remixes, right?
Mm-hmm.
These long rhythmic songs that you can really just get lost in. And I really appreciate that the soundtrack reflects that, as well as the like perfectly written pop tunes, the 3-minute songs, the 4-minute songs.
Yeah.
Well, to your point,
radio
Brian,
friendly,
too,
yeah.
like as a DJ, Calypso Breakdown is the end of side 2 of this of the first record. So like it'd be really easy to cue and play out and fade out. And same with Disco Inferno, is the end of the album. It's the end of the second record, second side, right? So they're placed almost like they want to be DJ'd. I would even say Salsation being the opener of the last record, second side, is a great one to just drop the needle on. Although that one too, I mean, now we've got disco and improv solos, which is really a kind of a really wild thing. It made me rethink a lot of the stuff that I thought was cheesy about jazz artists that I was introduced to as a kid, like Maynard Ferguson and stuff, that were doing these things too.
Mm-hmm.
But it was true. I think it really was still a part of this sort of live meets electronic meets dance experience, and it breathes on this album.
It's really like kitchen sink music, like, do you want horns, strings, synths, rock guitar, like choral singers? Yes.
Yeah.
Give me all of it.
And the delivery of those all too, and some of the songs more so than others, more in the lines of the leaning towards the Maynard Ferguson style. They'll do that. They'll present the melody by the trumpet section, and then it comes in. What's the one that comes in with the bones on one? I wrote down. Oh, it's Open Sesame. No, it's not. Anyway, I can't find it in my notes, but they do that thing where they play the melody in one section, and then they play the chorus, and then the next section gets the melody, and then the next section. It's just so formulaic and simple.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Lost my point there, but another good that I had was "You Should Be Dancing," man. I love that. I think that's the Bee Gees' hardest offering.
I agree.
It's so it kills so much. I love that song.
That bass line drives so hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in doing, guess who plays percussion on that? Steven Stills.
What?
So in doing the research on You Should Be Dancing, Steven Stills was in a studio next door with Neil Young and Crosby and the rest of CSN&Y. And
Total change of events.
I know, right? They were doing the Long May You Run album, and I don't remember how all it actually happened, but Stills wound up doing percussion on that, and some of their band also played on that too. So yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, but also pretty fucking cool. But yeah,
There's a lot going on in that song. I feel like there's even
shaker
some
percussion, or did he sit down in the drum set?
right because I think there's always also like timbales at the end, right? There's some like Latin
There's
stuff
a lot
that's
of-
phasing.
Yeah,
a lot
there's-
of wood blocks and there's a
Mhm.
lot of aux percussion going on there.
Yeah.
The only thing they're missing is that trademark cake vibra slap.
Heads of state who ride and wrangle, who look at your face from more than one angle, can cut you from their bloated budget.
Wait, hold up, but that's only on one song on this album that I heard.
Yeah.
And that's on Fifth of Beethoven. I was surprised at the lack of vibro slap on this album.
I'm always happy when it's not there.
Yeah, but it's used well in Fifth of Beethoven. It's really cool. It's a cool one.
I do think Fifth of Beethoven's a little cheesy, but again, I think there were so many. It's almost a trend of like taking something and giving it the disco treatment, and that continued on, right? Like even a early Prodigy hit of Charlie, of like taking the children's song and making it a rave song, or taking a country song and making it a hip hop song. It's just in that vein.
Well, and that's another good for me for this album, just in a general sense of speaking, is the nods to the classics, quote unquote, that is being done here. And obviously, I'm a fan of progressive rock, and they really enjoyed hearkening back to any form of classic art music. In many ways, the LP did a lot. Yes, did it a lot by influence more so than directly, like covering. But it's fun to hear that. I don't know. I think it kind of ties our history together. Yeah, it gets cheesy, it gets overwrought for sure, but it's I don't know. It's a thing.
Well, this might be a little out of scope, but just in general, thinking of the context of 1977 and all of the musical stuff that was going on in that year or those couple years, even just in New York City, where you had disco, you had proto hip hop, you had punk, you had salsa, you had like Philip Glass doing his thing. I think I read some book that just covered those years from all of the genre, and the fact that like Bruce Springsteen is also down there in Asbury Park getting started, and then just on the radio you're getting like still like the Zeppelin is huge, and then the prog gear stuff is huge, Aerosmith is huge, and just all of those things just like burgeoning and erupting forth at the same time. It must have been a pretty wild selection on the radio.
And it's right when we were born into this era, like most people here anyway, right in that age. I think that probably influenced by us by being babies. We learned it through osmosis.
Yeah, that seems right.
Because what a time to be alive.
It's literally sleeping on the records will also help.
Right.
I will say one of the things I thought was a little. I feel like if you owned this record, side one of the set ends with, I think, one of my favorite tracks, and I bet it got skipped a lot because you got 4 Bee Gees tracks in a row, and then you have If I Can't Have You.
Am I strong enough to see it through? Go crazy is what I will do. If I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby. If I can't have you,
And I think that's one of the standout tracks for me. I love that one. I think that the vocal performance on it is fantastic, and I think the chord changes are great. The little breakdown orchestral moment that happens between verses is really cool.
Yvonne
I just-
Elman's amazing.
I just think that the placement on it is unfortunate. I'd almost rather have that start side 2 than Fifth of Beethoven, but I understand, given the way these were probably played, that's not a smart choice.
And I don't remember this. Was If I Can't Have You written by the Gibbs or not?
That I don't know. I have that.
She's
Element.
credited on the
She's credited. Okay.
playlist.
Okay.
Well, this may be just saying the singer too. I'm not looking at a definitive list, but
I definitely got the vibe where they like put the OG or put the original Bee Gees songs first, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Drew. Freddie Perrin is the producer, but none of the Bee Gees are credited. So yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. But yeah, I mean, coming off of More Than a Woman, I do feel like they still kind of flow.
Overall, I mean, we're still talking about the second
Yeah.
best selling soundtrack of all time. And no, people who were born in our generation, Singles is not number 1. It's The Bodyguard.
I think there's only one stinker on this whole record.
What's the stinker?
For me, that's My Bad. And
Is it a little stinker?
It's a little stinker. Sorry, Ron. It's Boogie Shoes, man. I hate that song.
Really?
I hate that song's guts.
It's all good.
You hate that song Souls
I
because they're
and not only that, but I think it's so displaced on this album. I mean, in an album of all disco that we're talking a chroma of vibe, Boogie Shoes just is way on the spectrum of low vibes for me. That's where I'm at.
If I Can't Have You, it was written by the Bee Gees.
Oh, well,
It's the B-side of the Stayin' Alive single. Like if you would have gotten the single, it would have been on the B-side.
No.
But
well,
yeah.
Did they do
we're all
backups
wrong.
on it?
There
Like,
you go.
did they record it with her?
So it says this was a song written by the Bee Gees in 1977. The song initially appeared on Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in a version by Yvonne Elman. Bee Gees' own version appeared a month later as the B-side of Stayin' Alive.
Their version.
Well,
But it says song was written by the Bee Gees in 1977. Songwriters Barry Gibb, Robin Gibb, Maurice Gibb. Producers Bee Gees, Carl Richardson, the folks who produced this album.
Drew, do you think your aversion to Boogie Shoes is related to pharmaceutical commercials?
I would say that if it didn't happen earlier than the commercials.
Because
I can tell you,
I feel like it's used a lot. Like,
Yeah.
do you have depression or allergies or high blood
Right.
pressure or Crohn's disease? Here's
Okay.
Boogie Shoes.
let me give you a couple quick occurring reasons why I don't like this song, because I know that when I said it, there was silence in the room, and I felt like, wow, I'm the only one that doesn't like this track. But
I mean, it's not my favorite
okay.
on.
I
It's
don't-
not
I
my
don't need-
favorite, but I don't dislike it in the same way that I think Drew does.
I hate its guts, man. I hate its guts.
You were clear on that. You said guts now 3 times. Yes.
Yeah. There's another song that I hate this much, and I can't think of it offhand, but it's you'd crack up if you knew what it was. But anyway, first and foremost, the tempo, I think it's too slow. It's a drag. Like it doesn't get me energized. If he's that interested in boogie and KC knows how to boogie, then he'd do this at a faster, danceable tempo. Number 2, as a horn player, the horn riff is great in it, but you try playing this song and you'll hate it too. This song sucks to play horn on live. All you do, there can't be anything more boring to do than play the horn track on this song.
Dude, I never thought about that from a horn
Think about it,
player's
man.
perspective.
And I do more than play horn, but when I'm just playing horn, and I have played this song with a band before, it is just the most boring experience in the universe.
Dude, it's
Hey.
funny you say that because when we used to play Jungle Boogie, I played one note the whole song.
Mhm.
And so I was like,
Yeah,
I mean, it was cool because, you
at
know,
least it
we were
was in
having fun.
Yeah, at least you're in a groove that's
Right.
deep. You know?
Yeah. But yeah,
You're
you're
not
just
just like,
going,
But hey,
my boogie shoes.
Trick Daddy sampled it.
Slipping, sliding loose. More punch than your bowl of juice. And ain't nobody more jiggy than us. Stuff so rough it causes head rush like whoa. Give it to me, bring it here. Don't stop.
So
dude, I saw that. Yeah. I was like,
take it to the house.
uh-huh.
There's been a bunch of artists who've sampled that horn.
Yeah,
It's a great hook for a sample.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, it's not a great hook to play. In my third injustice of that song is the obviously it's the blues changes, you know, very simple, very and this governs, you know, whatever 80% of the songs ever written, but it's so laid out. It feels to me just way too like, I'm going to make a song and I'm going to use this chord and it's going to be followed by this chord and then followed by this chord, which goes back to this chord. Whereas the rest of the album
suddenly move to like the upper Midwest? Like, where are you from right now, Drew?
Yeah, I don't
this
know.
chord.
The rest of the album in all shapes and sizes grooves in a way that touches me. This song does not. So,
Wow.
Because I'm in the minority here, listeners, please write in and give me some love because I'm not getting any here. I'm floating on a cloud full of methane.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I had this, I could skip that track. It's not my favorite on the album either. So you're not totally in. You're not just totally on the left shoe.
Oftentimes I am.
We'll move on to results and ratings. Ron, scale of 1 to 10, where are you?
3.
3. Brian, as a non-voting member of this body, where would you be on a scale of 1 to 10?
One of my many regrets from my last appearance here was the score I gave that Massive Attack album.
Haunts you, doesn't it?
It should have been a 10. This album is a 10. If I'm going to come on this podcast to talk about an album, I'm going to rate it 10.
Right on. Nice.
All right. I gave it a 7. Drew gave it a 7.5, and Ryan gave it a 6.5, which wound up at a 7.0 even, which puts the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack at number 32 out of 100 albums, cracking the top third. Drew, Ryan, any change to your score?
Yes. I honestly, it had been a long time since I seriously revisited this, and I had forgot how much time I'd spent on this album. There's a lot of reward here.
Yeah.
I'm unprecedentedly, I'm bumping this up to an 8 for me.
Wow.
Damn.
I love this album.
Drew.
It's fun, man.
Yeah. Drew, how about you?
I go up to an 8 as well. That's the perfect spot for it. I don't think I undershot it with 7. I think everybody's crept up on me, so I got to adjust accordingly here. But all the same, I'm there.
I'm going up by a half point as well to a 7.5. Now Ron's score tanks it, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Although, if anyone who actually listens to this podcast thought that Ron would like this album,
Right.
That's fair.
then you could have been right, because he also
who
likes
knows?
all the weirdest shit on all the different sides of the circle. So you
We could
never know.
have faked the research and be like, Ron, didn't you know Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing guitar on this?
Right. People are going to be starting to be able to bet on like that Kalshi app about Ron's references on these.
But Ron, if there wasn't disco, there wouldn't be Lords of Acid, so you have to score it higher.
There you go.
Prince was playing Barry Gibb's guitar.
Does anyone own this? Drew, I assume you do. You talked about it. Ryan, I think you said you were playing it on a...
I still have a CD. Yeah, I don't have a record copy, but I'm happy with my CD.
We have 2 copies. We each came together with one, and I also own this pretty obscure and interesting cover called Hasidico Fever.
Oh my God.
with some traditional Jewish songs. They're not covers of the disco songs. However, it is featuring Ricky Gall, a prominent figure in Jewish pop music of the 70s. And anyway, in addition to our 2 albums, we have this one as well. So,
all right. I've got this on vinyl. I didn't bring it out, but I do have this record. I think it was probably my parents that it wound up in my collection or something. But so
There's a lot of them out there.
yeah, there's a ton. The best selling for a long time. So yeah. All right, guys. Let's go to Margaritaville. If this album had a restaurant or a chain of restaurants, a la Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, what would it be called? And what would the theme be? I've got a very disappointing showing, but I think that you guys will help make up for it. So, Brian, do you have anything to? You could kick this off if you've got something.
Another regret of mine from the Massive Attack episode. You guys asked me about this restaurant thing, and I just gave you an actual idea for an actual restaurant, like an idiot. Didn't know it was just a pun contest.
it's got to become that. It's got to become that.
So
Didn't start out to.
I've come loaded for bear.
Sweet.
Okay, here we go. There's a whiskey and prime rib joint called Fifths and Beef Ovens.
I tried working with something, so I didn't end up with anything. So I'm glad you found it. Good job.
There's an all-night burger joint called Open Sesame (parentheses bun). There's a burger and taco joint called More Than a Burger.
I'll take that.
A restaurant where you listen to this podcast as you eat called How Low Is Your Score? Boom.
Oh, nice.
This one is more of a sponsor product, but this is a spicy, circular, salty snack called Dick's Golden Fire O's. Say it quickly. Dick's Golden in Fire O's. There is a non-denominational diner open on Christmas called If I Can't Have Yule. There is the Tenacious D's restaurant called TNCD's JBKG. There is
That's a
David
swinging.
There is David Shire's personal bar called Manhattan's Nacho Mountains and Salsa Station. There is a Hooters-esque restaurant called Nice Beaver. We don't have to show it. There is the Gibb Brothers brand of honey called Hive Talkin'. There is a Michelin star tasting menu restaurant called There is a 5-star DoorDash delivery person called Dude That Hustles. And lastly, for Ryan, there's a 19th hole style restaurant called Disc Golf Feed Bar.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God, dude.
And scene. That's it.
How are we gonna follow that? That was wonderful.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well done, Brian.
God.
Like
damn.
Wow.
So, Brian, you had one or two then. Okay, that's good.
Oh.
You and Nate
That's cool,
Crocker ought to
Yeah,
get
Nate
together.
did the same thing.
Right.
Came in with like a dozen.
All right.
Go, Ron.
I got 4. The first one is a farm-to-table restaurant where you must stalk and kill your turkey, and then our award-winning chef will prepare it, called Jive Turkey Stalking.
Nice.
Yep.
We have a food prep restaurant that sells only vegetarian meals. Ryan, you need to pay attention to this one. It's called You Should Be Blanching.
Oh. Important.
And then we have a oxygen and hydration diet bar that is committed to providing an enjoyable and euphoric weight loss experience called A Night on Disco Dust Mountain.
Good.
And then this one could almost be an ad, but we're not going to go that far with it. It's an outdoor restaurant for recovering alcoholics that still want to socialize and meet people, but obviously don't drink. So you go to S'mores with a Woman, and that's where you meet people, where you sit around and make s'mores and meet people.
Is it also a brothel?
No, that's
man, Ron didn't have a brothel this week.
no, I did. I have a house of ill repute called How Deep Is Your Love?
There we go.
There it is.
All right. Well, I've got
Multifunctional.
a restaurant servicing 2 prefix menus. It's called I Can't Have Two. A bar themed to be exactly like TV's Cheers called You Could Be Dancing.
Ooh.
A delicious bakery featuring French puff pastries called Good Patachoux.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
You ranked them, didn't you, Ryan?
That one was a little hard. And then a bed and breakfast featuring locally sourced honey and cute bee themed decor called Stay in a Hive.
Nice.
Nice.
Yep.
Yep, that's what I got. Those were
Nice.
not
My
great.
friend David liked that one.
I've got oh my god. Okay. I've got a bakery that specializes in darker breads called Toast and a Rye. A Tex-Mex style restaurant that specializes in chips and dips prior to your meal called Salsa Nation.
Yes.
Nice.
A really, really high
I would go
class,
there.
like really highly Michelin, high, lots of stars, really fancy place called You Should Be Fancy. And then the last one I just came up with while we were talking, it's a sausage restaurant in Chicago
Abe
called More Than a Froman.
More than a friend.
You know who I am?
Okay. Drew, do you have any?
I got 2.
Let's hear them.
Well, this one is it's a self-serve restaurant, and it's called you have to wear a glove because you have to reach for your own food down into a vat, and it starts with super gross stuff on the top, and the food gets better as you go down in layers, and so it's called How Deep Is Your Glove because you reach down to the best. I didn't think through the part where you have to pull it up through the gross stuff, but
Yeah, it's nasty.
and then this one is a purveyor of fine Austrian whiskeys, where they have unearthed our dear Beethoven and ground up his bones, and much like Goldschlager, put them into some bottles of whiskey
Flexing the.
called Fit of Beethoven.
Perfect.
That's nice.
All of the
That's
other
like
restaurants
that-
like that will have to change their name.
It's like the scene. It's like the scene in Beer Fest when they drink out of the Goldschlager and they've got the glitter all over their lips. That's gonna be Beethoven's ashes.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
I was surprised nobody had a gastronomy restaurant with pictures. You know, it'd be all about Scientology. Like the more you pay, the deeper down the menu you can get. You know, just to help Travolta get a little edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hit that connection right before you said it. I saw where you're going. there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, would you guys say this is his best movie, or would you say it's Look Who's Talking?
Yeah, I think look who's talking.
That's a close one, right?
I mean, you're joking, but he's really good in this movie.
He is good in this movie.
I mean, this movie made him a movie star out of a TV star, and range wise, maybe not so much, but he inhabits his character, right? And even though, I think I saw a TikTok the other day of just some random dude in his living room doing the same moves that he does, and they look just ridiculous out of the context. But he danced. He was a dancer. Like when he danced in Pulp Fiction, everybody was like,
I was just gonna say, Pulp Fiction is probably what I would have said for a good performance, but.
Well, I mean, he was obviously this was written, I feel like, almost for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, not really, because he was on Cotter at the time.
Yeah.
But still, they knew what he was capable of. Yeah. Good point, Brian. Sorry for being snarky.
That's what you get for making a joke. about Look Who's Talking.
Was he?
Look who's talking.
Did he come in as a dancer, or did he just step up to the part?
Actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like
But he had
in
done
the
Grease
commentary-
already, didn't he?
Ooh, good
Oh,
call.
yeah.
I'm not sure, but I feel like I read or heard some interview where his dance, like they were running out of time when they were doing all the club footage, and he's like, "Dude, I've been practicing for like 6 weeks. Let me dance."
Yeah.
There's actually, I don't know if you guys have looked it up, but there's a deleted scene where he dances the robot to the song "Disco Duck" by Rick Dees and the
No way.
Idiots. Yeah, it's a deleted scene from the movie, but it's on YouTube. You can find it. So he was all over that dance floor.
I need to watch that
Yes.
as soon as we say goodnight.
Yes.
Imagine if Disco Duck was on this soundtrack.
I know.
Yeah,
That'd be like 4 points off right away.
that would have been an interesting turn. Yeah, I agree.
I give it a 2.
All right, guys, let's bring it on home, shall we? Folks, please go out and listen to the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack and let us know what you think. Hit us up with a voice message at speakpipe.com/100albums. Email us at 100albums@bertislow.com. You can connect with us on Instagram and or Facebook at 100albums podcast, or visit 100albumspodcast.com, our website, where you can connect with us in a variety of different ways. Next week, you guys know what we're listening to?
The Bodyguard soundtrack.
You might.
Close.
The soundtrack
Anyone?
to
No.
Roadie?
No. De La Soul is Dead. It's going to be a fantastic listen for me and Ryan. I don't know about Drew and Ron. We'll see. But that's what you need to do, folks. You need to tune in and find out what we all think of that. Brian, thanks so much again for joining us. It's been a blast.
Thank
Really
you guys
happy to
so
have
much
you.
for having me.
Oh,
Thank
dude,
you.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Good to see you, man. Good to have you on.
And join us next week. Until then, have a good one.
What about jive turkeys?
Later, turkeys. Jive turkeys. I like that.
Later, jive turkeys.
Oh, boy.
Bert, I think the outro, there's something wrong. I didn't hear the background music come up in the mix.
If only it were that easy, Ryan. If only.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, just so you know, and there's Brian. Brian, our guest is here
Before Ryan.
the guest's friend,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Miller.
Hello. Check.
How the hell are you? Check.
I'm doing so good.
Gotcha.
It's good to see you guys.
Likewise.
Good seeing you.
So I was just telling Ron that yesterday we dropped the Smiths episode, right? And
yeah.
that was our 100th episode.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
It's not the 100th album, but if you count all the little
The minis and shit?
the turds that we put in between albums,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
100, man. That's crazy.
Congratulations, you guys.
Oh, thank you.
It's been the best 5 years experience, second to college.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought when you guys were
exactly.
like, hey, it's the pandemic. I got a poster.
That's
5
true.
years later.
That's very true.
And
All right, let's get real quick. Ryan, are you driving? Like we talked a little bit about it in text.
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I did not.
Hey, I just
agree
wanted
with that.
to. I'm not a dictator here.
You are. You're
Mm,
definitely a dick, and you like potatoes.
I do like potatoes.
Um,
I'm Bert. Nope. I'm
I was there, man.
well, but Ryan spoke over me. Damn it. So this week we're going to be talking about the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, our only soundtrack on
No.
the post.
no.
We've already
Bodyguards.
had one.
Oh, Bodyguard. That's right. How could I forget Bodyguard? Our second sound and our second soundtrack on the poster. Wait, let me try that again. The only other soundtrack we have on the poster. I'll fix it in post.
Oh, you have the day off?
I'm on spring break.
Oh,
Nice.
man, that's awesome.
I've been installing installing closet doors, which is way worse than housework. But
I'm not familiar with that OS.
Oh God,
I,
dude.
I barely get that
It's-
joke. So.
It's weird being on the inside of these jokes, man. At least when I'm listening to the podcast, I can just like shake my head without you guys seeing me.
Oh my God.